to dive it very early in the morning at first light. They went in, and with our lead scientist, Molly, everyone quickly discovered it really was the world's largest coral.
They were never supposed to be real. For decades, people said these creatures were myths, sailor lies, or movie tricks. But cameras do not lie. Hidden beneath the waves are animals so massive, so unreal, they look like they belong to another planet. You are here because you already feel it. That pull, that question. What else is down there? These are not drawings or guesses. These are real sea giants caught on camera. And once you see them, the ocean will never feel empty again. 15. Colossal coral. Colossal coral is not fast. It does not swim, it does not hunt, and yet it is one of the largest living creatures on Earth. In the clear waters near the Solomon Islands, scientists and underwater filmmakers came across something that stopped them cold. What they were seeing was not a reef made of many parts. It was a single living organism, stretching wider than 2 full basketball courts laid side by side. From above, it looks like a massive stone structure. Up close, it feels endless, like a living city built beneath the sea. What makes this coral so unreal is how it exists at all. It is built by millions of tiny animals called polyps. Each one is small, soft, and fragile on its own. But together, they form a structure so large it can be seen from space. These polyps work in perfect balance, growing slowly, layer by layer, year after year. No leader, no brain, just quiet cooperation, repeated for centuries. While storms pass above and ships sail overhead, the coral keeps growing, unnoticed and untouched. Scientists believe this colossal coral may be hundreds of years old. It may have already existed before many modern countries were formed. While borders changed, wars were fought, and cities rose and fell. This coral kept building itself in silence. That idea alone is unsettling. A living organism older than entire nations, still alive, still expanding, still unseen until recently. It challenges how people think about size, age, and importance in the natural world. Unlike coral reefs made of many colonies, this is one continuous organism. Damage to one part affects the whole. That makes it both powerful and fragile at the same time. Climate changes, warming waters, and pollution now threaten something that took centuries to form. Scientists say discoveries like this prove how little of the ocean we truly understand. Less than 5% of the deep sea has been explored. If something this massive remained hidden for so long, it raises an uncomfortable question. How many other giants are still out there, growing quietly, untouched by human eyes? How many living structures exist beneath the waves, waiting centuries to be noticed? The ocean does not rush. It builds its wonders slowly, in darkness and silence, far from attention. And when those wonders are finally found, they remind us just how small we really are. If something this massive can grow in silence, imagine what can move unseen. 14. Giant phantom jelly. The giant phantom jelly is an enigma that does not reveal its presence. It does not show off its colors or use any sort of aggressive moves. It just comes into view. The animal, which looks like a shadow of life, inhabits ocean areas where the sun has never been able to penetrate, so it is very deep down and very dark. The creature's sightings have been extremely rare to the extent that it is known only through the rare deep-sea camera images coming from black waters. Each time of the event, there was a very similar reaction, comprising silence, shock, and confusion. Even the experts had difficulty explaining the phenomenon according to their research. The jellyfish is very peculiar and scary at the same time. Its mouth can be up to several feet in diameter, but that is not what grabs the attention of the spectators. What frightens them are the tentacles. These long, ribbon-like strands stretch out for more than 30 feet, slowly floating behind the jellyfish like pale smoke. Contrary to the majority of jellyfish, the arms do not sting. The process of feeding the giant phantom jelly is not fully comprehended. It is believed by some scientists that the arms perform like floating nets, silently trapping the prey that wanders too close. Others think it wraps its arms around the victims in very slow, unseen, and unavoidable motion. Another factor that adds to the frightening aspect of this creature is its behavior. The giant phantom jelly is not in a hurry. With almost zero movement, it glides through the water, conserving energy and gaining endurance for the next step/tiny movement in the very dark, infinite place that is their home. Then, right when it seems to have come back to the surface, it sinks. The cameras might manage to grab a few seconds or even a minute, and then it just disappears back into the black. No chasing, no escaping, just gone. Because sightings are so rare, much of its life remains a mystery. Scientists do not know how long it lives, how often it feeds, or how many exist. Every video feels like an accident, a brief window into something never meant to be seen. It is a reminder that the deep ocean is not empty, it is simply hidden, filled with creatures that move slowly, quietly, and far beyond human reach. 13. Greenland shark. The Greenland shark looks like it belongs to another time because in many ways it does. Moving slowly through the icy waters of the Arctic and North Atlantic, this massive predator may be the longest-living vertebrate on Earth. Scientists estimate that some Greenland sharks can live between 250 and 500 years. That means sharks swimming today may have been alive before modern nations existed, before electricity, before written history as we know it. When this shark was already grown, the world above was still learning how to map itself. What makes this even more unsettling is that the Greenland shark is not a relic hiding in isolation. It is still active, still hunting, still surviving in one of the harshest environments on the planet. These sharks can reach over 20 feet in length and weigh more than 2,000 pounds. They cruise the cold depths slowly, conserving energy, blending into darkness. Their movement is calm, almost lazy, but that should not be mistaken for weakness. In water near freezing, patience is power. Despite their slow speed, Greenland sharks are apex predators. They feed on fish, seals, and even large animals that wander too close. Some have been found with remains of polar bears and reindeer in their stomachs. How they catch fast prey remains a mystery, adding to their eerie reputation. Many of these sharks have parasites attached to their eyes, often leaving them partially blind. Yet they survive with ease, guided by senses still not fully understood. 12. Giant Pacific octopus. The giant Pacific octopus is undeniably one of the most intelligent and frightening creatures in the ocean. A native to the cold Pacific waters, this marine animal can measure as much as 30 feet in total length, with its legs extending and twisting like live ropes. The creature can be 100 pounds in weight and still be the ghost that no one hears. When a giant octopus glides across the ocean floor, it seems to be more like a thought in the water than an animal that you can see and characterize. The amazing mind of the octopus is the one factor that clearly distinguishes it from virtually all other marine animals. Footage of giant Pacific octopuses reveals their capabilities to solve puzzles, open jars, and break free from enclosures. Some have even managed to remove lids from jars without being noticed. Others have gone as far as penetrating through gaps only slightly wider than their eyes. In zoos, caretakers have come across octopuses outside their cages during the night, wandering through corridors before slipping back in unnoticed. Each tentacle has its own set of nerves, making it possible for the octopus to think and act simultaneously in different parts of its body. It is not just a case of moving. A decision has to be made each time. The giant Pacific octopus is nothing but an intelligent yet strong creature. Its suction cups can grip even the strongest of men and pull them underwater easily. On rare but amazing occasions, they have even been able to beat the sharks by wrapping their arms around the fish and flattening it to the seabed. The absence of bones allows the octopus to reshape itself to any form, thus creating a perfect blend of power and suppleness. 11. Colossal squid. The colossal squid is built for a world where pressure can crush steel and darkness never ends. Unlike the more famous giant squid, this creature is heavier, thicker, and far more powerful. While giant squids may reach greater length, the colossal squid outweighs them by a wide margin, making it the heaviest invertebrate ever discovered. Some estimates suggest it can weigh well over 1,000 pounds, turning it into a true tank of the deep rather than a fragile drifter. Its most striking feature is its eyes. Each one can be as large as a basketball, the largest eyes of any known animal. These massive eyes are not for beauty. They are built to detect movement in near total darkness, allowing the squid to sense predators or prey from far away. In the deep sea, vision is survival, and the colossal squid sees more than almost anything else alive. Every shape, Every shadow matters. The body of the colossal squid is thick and muscular, with powerful arms and 2 long tentacles armed with rotating hooks. Unlike the suction cups seen on other squids, these hooks can tear flesh and hold struggling prey with brutal efficiency. This is not a passive hunter. It is designed for combat. Every part of its body suggests confrontation, strength, and survival in violent depths. 10. Sperm whale. The sperm whale, hands down, is the heavyweight champion among deep-sea hunters. It is the biggest and only toothed predator on the planet, a living force that can grow to a length of over 50 feet and weigh more than 40 tons. The gigantic, square-shaped head of the animal accounts for almost a third of its whole length and is full of strong muscles and fat, which are used for the whale's deep diving and sound production. When the sperm whale comes to the surface, the surrounding ocean seems smaller, as if an ancient one has come up from the bottom. The only thing that makes the sperm whale different is its ability to go deep. Whales of this species commonly dive thousands of feet below the water surface, descending into total darkness, where the pressure is very high and there is no light. While down there, they slay the giant squid and colossal one by tracing them with their strong clicks that penetrate the water. The clicks are one of the loudest sounds made by any animal, which means the deep ocean is now a hunting ground ruled by sound instead of sight. The evidence of these struggles can be seen on the whales themselves. Lots of sperm whales have circular scars all over their bodies, the markings made by the giant squid's suction cups and hooks. Some scars are new, and some are old, pale reminders of battles fought a long time ago. Very occasionally, filming has caught whales resurfacing with the remains of squids still stuck in their mouths, the tentacles tightly wrapped as if they are not willing to let go. These are not legends or tales. This is a reality of giants confronting each other in battle. 9. Giant squid. For centuries, the giant squid lived only in stories. Sailors spoke of massive arms rising from the depths, of ships dragged down by unseen forces, of shadows moving beneath the hulls. These tales were dismissed as fear, exaggeration, or pure fiction. For a long time, science agreed. No one had ever seen a giant squid alive. No clear proof existed, and so one of the ocean's most feared creatures remained a myth. That changed when cameras finally followed the darkness deep enough. The giant squid is real, and it is enormous. Fully grown, it can stretch over 40 feet long, with 2 long feeding tentacles extending far beyond its body. Its eyes are massive, built to gather every trace of light in the deep. Its arms are lined with powerful suction cups, each ringed with tiny teeth that grip and hold struggling prey. This is not a gentle drifter. It is an ambush hunter, built for surprise. The first clear footage of a live giant squid sent shockwaves through the scientific world. The animal appeared suddenly, glowing faintly as it moved through black water. It did not attack the camera. It did not flee. It simply existed, calm and powerful, confirming that legends sometimes tell the truth. Since then, sightings have remained rare. Most giant squids are found only after death, washed ashore, or discovered in the stomachs of whales. And evidence buried in stone suggests the ocean once belonged to something far bigger. 8. Ocean sunfish, mola. The ocean sunfish, which is also known by the name mola, resembles a creature that is not yet completely formed. Its physique is very tall and flat, and almost like a circle, with very long fins going up and down instead of a proper tail. The first impression is that it is slow, clumsy, and perhaps even harmless. But this assumption is quickly dispelled once the huge size is realized. The ocean sunfish is the most massive bony fish of the present time. When fully grown, it can weigh over 5,000 pounds, which is more than the weight of a large pickup truck that can easily move around in the ocean. It is really hard to believe seeing one of them in person. Sometimes, divers who happen to come across a sunfish are so astonished that they just stay still, not because they are frightened, but because they cannot believe it. It is so massive and heavy that even the ocean cannot help it. Its skin is so thick that it is rough, and is also covered with parasites and scars from past fights. The massive body of the fish, however, does not make it aggressive. On the contrary, it looks gentle, but it still commands attention due to its size. This is not a fish that you can only measure by its length. Its huge mass is the size of a living wall. The ocean sunfish can be found in the warm and temperate waters of the world. They mainly depend on jellyfish for food and are always on the move to find this food, which can hardly be considered a fight. They are also very patient and will wait for hours till the jellyfish come to their area. Their diet forces them to spend their life on the edge of energy, always moving slowly and with a calm, even, flowing rhythm. Occasionally, they come to the surface and lie on their backs with their bellies facing the sun, soaking up the heat. This behavior not only gave them their name, but it also contributes to their very peculiar look of being monstrous with their huge size and very calm and non-typical sea activity. 7. Megalodon shark, extinct. The Megalodon shark no longer swims the oceans, but its presence has never truly left. Long before modern whales or humans existed, this predator ruled the seas. It was the largest shark to ever live, a creature so massive that even today's greatest hunters would look small beside it. Scientists estimate Megalodon reached lengths of more than 60 feet, making it longer than a school bus and heavier than most modern whales. The clearest evidence of its size comes from its teeth. Megalodon teeth have been found all over the world, preserved in rock and sand, some larger than a human hand. These were not decoration. Each tooth was thick, serrated, and built to tear through bone. Bite force estimates suggest Megalodon could crush the skull of a whale with ease. Fossilized whale bones bearing massive bite marks confirm that these encounters were real and often deadly. Unlike skeletons of land animals, shark bones are made mostly of cartilage, which rarely fossilizes. That means almost everything we know about Megalodon comes from fragments, teeth, vertebrae, scars left on prey. Yet those fragments paint a terrifying picture. This was not just a larger shark. It was an apex predator with no rival, dominating warm oceans across the planet for millions of years. 6. Blue whale. A blue whale is not just the biggest living animal, but also the biggest animal to have ever lived on Earth. No other creature, whether terrestrial, aerial, or aquatic, comes near to its size. The largest blue whales can measure more than the length of a full basketball court and weigh up to and over 200 tons. Being next to one would seem like a dream come true, as if one were comparing a human to a moving building. The dinosaurs that are often considered the giants of the past were still smaller than these massive sea creatures. A small, car-sized heart is encased in that huge body. It drives slowly and takes the blood through the arteries so wide that one can actually crawl through them. The blue whale can take a breath that would change the air in thousands of liters, and its lungs are so huge that they can hold enough oxygen for more than 20 minutes of deep diving. However, despite such great size and power, the blue whale depends mostly on some of the smallest ocean creatures for its survival. The creature that primarily makes up its diet is the tiny shrimp-like animal called krill, which the whale swallows by the millions in one bite. An incredible fact about blue whales is that ecstasy is not exactly how their presence can be heard. The whale quietly, slowly, and steadily sneaks through the open seas while hardly making any disturbance to the water around it. Its breath, when the whale comes up, can be heard from a long distance, but under the surface, it is like a ghost that is moving. Once, scientists recorded the length of a blue whale to be more than 100 feet, which was almost at the limit of what a living creature made of meat and bones could be. 5. Oarfish. The oarfish looks less like a fish and more like a living ribbon pulled straight from the depths. Its body is long, flat, and silver, stretching up to 36 feet in length, with a bright red fin running along its spine like a warning signal. It moves through the water in slow, graceful waves, drifting vertically rather than swimming forward like most fish. When seen near the surface, it feels out of place, as if something from the deep has surfaced by mistake. For centuries, sightings of creatures like the oarfish fueled stories of sea serpents. Sailors described long, snake-like bodies rising from the ocean, twisting and shimmering in the waves. With its size and shape, the oarfish fits those stories perfectly. A single glimpse of its towering body could easily turn into a legend passed from ship to ship. Long before cameras or science, the oarfish gave fear a shape. What makes the oarfish so unsettling is how rarely it is seen alive. It normally lives deep in the ocean, far below human reach. Most encounters happen only when it is sick, dying or disoriented, drifting toward the surface. That means every sighting feels wrong, like a rule has been broken. People who encounter one often describe the moment as unreal, as if the ocean briefly revealed something it meant to keep hidden. Despite its size, the oarfish is not aggressive. It feeds on small fish and plankton, using its delicate mouth to capture prey. There are no sharp teeth, no violent strikes, just quiet movement through dark water. That contrast between appearance and behavior makes it even more disturbing. A creature that looks like a monster, yet lives in silence. 4. Japanese spider crab. The Japanese spider crab is a creature that looks like it would belong to a science fiction movie. It possesses such a bizarre proportion of the body that it seems more like a creature coming from another planet rather than an ocean creature. It has a leg span of up to 12 feet, which allows it to reach far and wide across the ocean floor. The creature is the largest of all known arthropods, a group that includes insects and spiders, but its size is so fantastical that people have a hard time believing it was once there. When it is seen dragging its big body behind it in the deep, it is hardly perceived as an animal, but more like some animated construction. The crab's long and heavily jointed legs appear to be sorely mistreated, as they always bend at such alarming angles. As if an uninvited giant has popped in and spread their tinny and sharp legs about, the whole scene looks very uncanny to a human observer, giving off a comic effect rather than a horrifying one. The spider crab's rough and spiky body texture facilitates its colonization on its shell not only with algae, but also with rubble, thereby camouflaging itself amongst the seabed like a living trap. From afar, it can be mistaken for a natural feature, but upon closer inspection, it unveils its otherworldly appearance. Scuba divers often feel a sudden burst of dread when coming face to face with the Japanese spider crab, though the creature is calm and harmless and does not even adopt postures of aggression. The crab's monstrous look may strike terror, but in fact, the creature is a scavenger with a highly developed sense of smell, capable of detecting food from great distances. It subsists on carcasses, the strength and energy the crab disperses in the frigid depths where it dwells. These crabs have the potential to live for decades, while still getting larger as they continuously molt and grow their exoskeletons. They do not just grow, they grow a little bigger each time they molt. Each molt is a challenge that the already massive crab accepts by pushing the limits of its size. 3. Goliath grouper. The Goliath grouper is less a fish and more a living tank. Thick-bodied, wide-mouthed, and impossibly heavy, this reef giant can weigh over 800 pounds and grow longer than most people are tall. When one emerges from a shipwreck or coral reef, it fills the water around it, turning open space into something solid. Divers often describe the moment as startling, not because the fish attacks, but because it simply exists, massive and unbothered. For much of the last century, that size became its greatest weakness. Goliath groupers were heavily targeted by commercial and sport fishing, prized for their meat and sheer weight. One by one, the giants disappeared. By the 1990s, their numbers had collapsed so severely that the species was pushed to the edge. Entire reefs that once held these fish fell silent. The ocean lost one of its heaviest residents almost without notice. Protection came just in time. Fishing bans were put in place, and slowly, the Goliath grouper began to return. Today, sightings are still rare, but they are increasing. Around old wrecks and deep reefs, these fish reclaim their space, hovering in shadow, watching calmly as divers pass. They do not chase prey. Instead, they use sudden suction to swallow fish whole, proving that speed is not always necessary when size does the work. 2. Leatherback sea turtle. Apart from being the largest turtle currently living, the leatherback sea turtle is also the largest turtle ever. In fact, sometimes they weigh even more than 2,000 pounds and are more than 7 feet long. Thus, the living turtle becomes somewhat stranger than usual. Unlike the rest of the turtle species, this one does not swim through the sea in the same way. The turtle, using its muscular front flippers to slowly push through the water, is like an animal from another time, where movement was also so slow. The turtle's lineage, not just individuals, is what makes the leatherback truly exceptional. Dinosaur age. Those turtles are the ones who outlasted all the other species, including mankind. That is the reason why, millions of years later, they are still swimming silently in modern oceans. Little has changed in the leathery turtle's existence. Its flexible, rubber-like shell is very different from others and is made to withstand deep dives and extreme pressure rather than defense. Hence, it is not a defense mechanism. The leatherback, nevertheless, is so huge that it practically feeds solely on jellyfish. The animal is capable of crossing oceans and traveling thousands of miles to find food, while diving deeper than any other turtle species. In fact, some dives go to depths where no light ever reaches. The leatherback, however, does not stop in darkness but continues its slow movement through the water, depending on long-forgotten instincts to navigate the ocean. And finally, the longest creature ever discovered, so massive it challenges the limits of life itself. 1. Siphonophore. The Siphonophore may be the most unbelievable creature ever discovered in the ocean. At first glance, it does not even look real. It looks like a glowing ribbon drifting through black water. But this is not an illusion. Some Siphonophores have been measured at nearly 390 feet long, making them the longest animals ever recorded on Earth. Longer than blue whales, longer than ships, longer than anything that should be alive. What makes the Siphonophore even stranger is that it is not a single animal. It is a living chain of thousands of tiny cloned individuals, all connected and working together as one. Each piece has a specific job. Some parts handle movement, others capture food, others are responsible for reproduction. Alone, none of them could survive. Together, they form a single coordinated organism that behaves as if it has one mind. It is teamwork taken to an extreme rarely seen in nature. These creatures live deep in the ocean, far below sunlight, drifting through the abyss where pressure is crushing and darkness is absolute. In this black world, Siphonophores glow softly. Their faint light pulses through the water, creating an eerie, almost hypnotic display. The glow may be used to attract prey or communicate within the colony, but much of their behavior remains unknown. Very few humans have ever seen one alive. Most sightings come from deep-sea exploration vehicles, when cameras suddenly reveal an endless, glowing body stretching far beyond the frame. There is no visible head, no clear beginning or end, just a living structure floating in silence. Scientists themselves struggle to describe it. It challenges basic ideas about what an animal is supposed to be. If these creatures shocked you, let us know which one stunned you most. Like the video, subscribe for more unseen ocean stories, and click the next video on screen because the deep is far from finished revealing its secrets.